ready for this game tonight, though, for sure.
See, ladies, this is the type of song.
Already got to edit some stuff out.
No need to edit. They downstairs.
No. We better win tonight. I'm gonna be so mad if we don't.
Oh man, we need that dub bad.
Phil's looking good. That's huge right there. Fisher's back.
Oh man,
LDT.
offensive line.
LDT's back.
We gonna have offensive line tonight.
We're gonna have one.
Are we gonna be able to run the football?
With Bosa and Ingram, we're gonna need it.
I don't think we will, just because we playing them. But
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. We tend to play them pretty good every year.
yeah, they tend to play us really good every year too.
They know they have
and
to.
then they win. Gotta turn that off. Would have been all kinds of bad for me. Middle of the show.
That's all right. Ace deep in that text.
I'm telling you. I mean,
Did we have to edit that one out?
he had to check in.
Man.
I'm fixing that lightning round stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
And
okay.
then texting
Right, so
CJ.
the Holy Ghost got me in Blue Springs right now. I'm ministering right now.
Checking with CJ.
Man.
Be like that, man. Be like that.
All right, I'm back with you.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Welcome back, host.
So we only had so many minutes on the instrumental. So
Might have to loop that. Oh, he ain't done yet.
No, he ain't done.
No, we good. We
Yeah,
good.
we good? You good now? Okay.
Bringing my notes up.
yeah, you got a
I don't have
little bit of
I don't
time.
have no pen and pad.
Do we need a FaceTime?
I'm
Make
telling you,
sure?
I mean, text message from Jesus, I guess.
I don't have no pen and pad, so I gotta bring my notes up.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I should transition over to the pen and pad. That's the way to go.
I like it. It's always reliable.
Yeah, I was the last minute, or I would have had mine. Pen and pad.
Sometimes you got to go right off the top with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just probably gonna freestyle. I don't know, no
Sorry.
stats, numbers, nothing. Just
No computer today either?
I'm just gonna be talking crazy.
Different location?
Making it up as you go, huh?
Matt Moore should be the starter. No, I'm playing.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Just come off the rails with it.
About a hot take.
That ain't even hot. That's just
That's a trash take.
Right.
it's just stupidity
Dumpster fire.
after the performance.
How long is this instrumental? Dang.
It's
Long
a
enough
one.
to
Monday, November 18th.
All right, yeah. Keep going.
Welcome to the KC Sports Bros podcast. This is your host, Ace. To my right,
It's your boy Dre to my right.
Big Earn, special guest to my right.
the producer, Dirty Red.
Dirty Red. I was wondering if you was going to go over that, bro.
Dirty Red, aka
Red.
Trey, aka
Dean's List.
Warren, aka Juan for some people. But yeah, I'm here. I'm filling in for the CJ Mayo who couldn't be with us today.
AKA all up in your man girl's drawers.
got a special guest in the house.
What?
Mr. Steal Your Todd Gurley.
This is episode 13. We're going to jump into this lightning round and then get into these good segments for the day. Duke basketball is number 1 in the AP polls. Tua is resting after his hip surgery. Beats gets me every time. Trailblazers signed Carmelo Anthony.
Happy for that man.
Yes, finally.
Yes.
Cheerios galore.
Patriots have secured their 19th straight winning season.
Bums.
D'Angelo Russell is out 2 weeks with a sprained thumb.
Everybody on their team
The
hurt.
team's just falling apart.
They cursed.
Wasn't he just hurt? Like not long ago?
Russell? I don't think Russell's ever been hurt this
I know Draymond was hurt and he came back.
year. Yeah, Draymond.
But Draymond said we have not seen the best of him yet. He has not peaked.
Yeah. Okay. Usually you don't peak as you get into this stage of your career, but
I haven't seen him play well since he started punching nuts. I mean, ever since he started that, it's downhill.
He said the next piece to his game is 40% from the three.
Okay.
yeah.
And LeBron's,
Everybody can drink.
and LeBron's going to be 90% from the free throw line this year, too. Not happening.
Jarvis Landry has the most receptions by any receiver in their first 6 seasons. with 530. He passed DeAndre Hopkins.
Shouts out to him.
Dang,
Shouts out to him.
Yeah, that's nice.
Lamar Jackson recorded his second perfect passer rating game this season. It's pretty good.
MVP.
And then finally, Jimmy Garoppolo, third quarterback in 49ers history with 400 passing yards and 4 touchdowns in one game. He joins
I'll give you one guess who the other two were.
Go.
Joe Montana and Steve J.C. Penny Young.
That's it.
I think I seen another stat that Michael Thomas was the fastest or has the most receptions through 10 games.
That's like 99 or something like that. 93.
Yeah.
A lot of targets, and that was
With Teddy.
without Breeze.
Yeah, with Teddy.
Man.
All right, so we're going to jump right into this first segment. We missed a week. So, Chiefs recap of Vikings and Titans. Who want to jump in there first, Tracy?
Yeah.
There we go.
So this is a very interesting couple weeks, really 3 weeks in total. Obviously, the Chiefs had a good showing throughout the stretch as a whole. You know, we 1-2, probably should have been 2-1. I don't know.
Easily.
I don't even know what to say about that game. We'll get there. But going to the Vikings game, I think we did what you need to do to beat the Vikings, which is you try to make Kirk Cousins be the guy to beat you. We didn't let Dalvin Cook run all over the field. He had 21 carries for 71 yards, which is not bad, but he didn't have a touchdown. He was only averaging 3.4 yards a carry. So that was good for us. Stephon Diggs only had 1 catch for 4 yards. I don't know how we pulled that off.
I don't either.
But that's how you do it. You take him away, you take Dalvin Cook away. It helped us out tremendously that Adam Thielen couldn't go. I think he's one of the more dynamic pieces of their offense. Without him in the game, it's hard for them to
he's consistent
to make stuff happen. But with that being said, Kirk Cousins didn't play terrible. I mean, he was 19 of 38. That's not the best, but 220 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, he didn't beat you on the road. He was a game Kirk Cousins that day anyway. Matt Moore came out 25 of 35, 275 for a touchdown. You know, serviceable, especially for a backup thrown into the mix after going to war with Aaron Rodgers the previous week. Damian Williams had an inflated stats that day.
Don't you hate on that, man?
12 carries for 125 yards until 91-yard rushing attack non-existent.
Still part of your stats.
It's still there. That's why I'm reading them, but I just want to give the context. Tyreek Hill, 6 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown. Man came back and just immediately started being explosive. So when we got the win there, it was a good win without your starting quarterback. Something that you maybe didn't expect to happen. You know, I kind of expected us to lose both those games, but compete, that's all I wanted to see, and that is what the Chiefs did.
Obviously, that's a great win for us at home with the Vikings fans filling up most of the stadium. I know a lot of the players had a lot to say about that, but, you know, they still came out and played their game and executed their game plan and won the game. And talk a little bit about Matt Moore before we move on to the Titans and the return of Mahomes. I would say Matt Moore was giving us Alex Smith play. And you'll take that all day during the regular season.
Yeah, just don't mess up.
Don't mess up. Don't turn over the ball. Rely on your receivers. Rely on your defense to in special teams to win the game. And that's what you'll take all day from a backup. Whenever I heard that Matt Moore was a high school coach before the season, now he has to step in for Mahomes, I was terrified.
I think he was too.
But but those 2 games, I think that you know, he showed us a lot. He showed us that he stepped in to some throws, some really good throws, especially down the field to Tyreek.
Took some hits too.
Took a lot of hits. I mean, he stood in the pocket, waited for his guys to get open, delivered the ball, took those hits. I mean, Matt Moore gets a standing O for sure. Standing O. Our defensive line that game, Chris Jones came back and he was dominant. He was dominant from start to finish. I just think we need more consistent pressure on earlier downs, preferably someone that's not number 95. I think Trey just talked about shutting down the leading rusher, holding him down to 71 yards. The highlight of that game, you also mentioned Dame Williams, 91 yards. But Tyreek Hill caught him. Purposely. And he was about 15 yards from him.
Flat-footed,
still
too.
caught him. Right.
No momentum, carrying, he just took off.
That dude's the most athletic person I've ever seen in my entire life. Period. But I think we all agree that we miss Kareem for two reasons. One, because he consistently produced average-wise. Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to make that point in the next game. That's cool.
No. I think he just consistently produced average-wise. He had 4.9 his first year and then 4.6 per rush, which is, if you do that 3 times, that's a first down. And then number 2.
Kind of how that works.
That's how that works. Hey, if you look at Damien's numbers, you rush him 3 times, it's a 3 and out. Y'all still
Also true.
But number 2
I'm glad we agree.
He never fumbled. He never fumbled.
Fumbled once. Then he
fumbled once.
proceeded to destroy the defense after that. So
in his first carry in the first game of the season, and never fumbled again. Never lost a fumble. So I'll let you get back to it unless somebody else got something to add with the Vikings.
Yeah, I do.
I knew that.
everybody got something to say.
To my left.
First, big shout out to your boy Tyreek Hill. I mean, 6 catches, 140. The man is back. Like you said, one of the most athletic guys I've ever seen. The man is a beast, and he's solid. Not only is he sometimes you see track guys playing football, but he's a football player who has track speed. Like, the man is a beast.
Olympic track speed.
And then big shout out to Harrison Butker, man. What did he make? 4 field goals in that game? I want to say.
Yep, and the game winner.
Yeah, including the game winner. Yeah, 4 field goals. Big time in that game. Shout out to Matt Moore. Led him on that drive, got him down there in position to win the game. But Butker, his leg was solid. And that was good. I thought we held up good. As could be expected with Matt Moore being the starter against that defense. Going into that game, I was worried about the rush, which we did take a lot of hits, especially with them having Everson, Griffin, and that line all together. But we did good, and like I said, it was surprising how well we did against Diggs, that he didn't go off.
One catch.
I thought with Thielen being out, Diggs would get at least 10 to 15 targets easily. But we definitely held him in check, and so that was good to see.
I'm good on the Vikings. I'm waiting on the next one.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I was avoiding that one actually.
Yeah. So on to the next segment. No. But yeah. So Chiefs versus Titans. I don't even know what to say.
2 words. You want to hear 'em?
No, I don't. Go ahead.
Suck it.
Derrick Henry.
Okay, I'll just use that.
Been saying that all year.
I'll be using that as the transition.
Also 2 first names.
I mean, everybody looks like a superstar running.
But I said that he would look good.
Okay, so
And you said, well, Derrick Henry ain't. There we go.
Speaking of Derrick Henry, 23 carries, 188 yards.
Read the stats, son.
8.2 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill, 13 of
Also,
19.
sorry to cut you off. If he was to rush 2 times, that's a first down.
Yes.
According to my math. According to my calculations.
We'll never
My
get tired
bad.
of those,
My bad, Trey.
pointless stats. Go ahead.
Gotta have them. Never know when you might need that in one of your arguments.
Stay in school.
Ryan Tannehill, 13 of 19, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Made him look like a superstar on that last drive that he had.
No interceptions.
Yeah, I just don't understand what we were doing late in that game. Mahomes, 36 of 50. I don't understand why he had to throw the football 50 times. We got to find balance on offense. 446 yards, 3 touchdowns. Damian Williams, 19 carries for 77 yards, 4 yards a carry. Tyreek Hill, 11 receptions, 157 yards, and a touchdown. Kelsey had 7 catches for 75 and a touchdown. McCole Hardman had 1 for 63 and a touchdown. If we could start to get a little bit more consistency, getting him involved down the field. I think that'll help us out a lot more. It was nice to see Travis Kelce kind of come on and be a more of a impactful player on the field during that time. Tyreek Hill, like we said, doing what he always does. Sammy Watkins, of course, up and down as always. He only had 5 catches for 39. Sometimes he shows out, sometimes he doesn't. Would like to see more consistency from him, but we miss Kareem Hunt, to Ernest's point that I was going to make, especially in a game like this. Late in the game, you get the ball back. I think it was like a little over 2 minutes left in the game. You're trying to run the clock out. When you have somebody like Kareem Hunt or Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, those kind of guys that can just get you those first downs on the ground, force timeouts to be used, force the clock to run. You don't have to call a rollout play for your quarterback to try to throw the ball. Even if you don't have that guy, I don't like that decision.
Yeah, it was a bad call regardless.
And I think people underestimate the IQ of a Patrick Mahomes type quarterback who knew instead of throwing it out to not lose yards for the field goal, he just slid, he ate the yards so that the clock would run and forced him to have to use that timeout because your defense is in a better position with the no timeouts going on the other side versus a timeout with some time left. So he made the right play there. Some people were like, why did he lose the yards? Why not just throw it out? But to me, that was the right play. He did the best with what was given in front of him. But for him to go out there and play the way he did and our defense to then go out there and just lay down like that, it's just ridiculous to me. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how they feel like, oh, we don't have to play as hard now that Pat's out there. I think they get really lax because they're like, oh, he can just go down there and score and it's cool. But it's like when Matt was out there, it was like every point mattered. So they played like every point mattered, where it seems like when he's on the field, Spagnuolo's not being as aggressive. I feel like we didn't blitz as much as we were those 2 games prior. People weren't being as aggressive. And I just feel like even on offense, this lack, like receivers are like, he's going to throw me open. I don't have to run my routes as hard to get open. And I think we need to get back to playing as if Matt Moore was back there, but with Patrick Mahomes, so that now we can start taking our game to the next level and taking this team to the next level. But I also feel like we have a coaching problem because to see what we've seen over the past few seasons with time management, how often we're penalized, and then even like the miscommunication on special teams, and just in general, even that Vikings game late down when he hit Tyreek Hill to try to set up the game-winning field goal. It's like nobody knew what they were supposed to do. People were walking around. Matt Moore's having to run down and hurry up so we can spike. It's like these are the fundamental things that Super Bowl caliber teams practice every day, and we don't see these kind of things come onto the field. You don't see that with the Patriots. You don't see that with Seattle. Like you don't see that with San Francisco. So we got to clean up the penalties. We gotta get the fundamentals down and get back to the basics so this team can then focus on the next step, which is getting back to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add to that. I completely agree with all your points. One thing I guess I do have to add is just penalties and turnovers is our kryptonite. I mean, that would be for any team for sure, but this team especially who has Super Bowl aspirations, I just feel like no team in the NFL can beat us. Nobody. And I think, I guess let me rephrase that.
Yeah, please do.
I think the only team in the NFL that can beat the Chiefs is the Chiefs. I don't think anybody can beat us.
With this defense?
Yeah, with this defense.
With the teams that beat us?
Because, I mean, if you look at all of our games that we lost by 3 to Tennessee. What did we lose against the Colts? 3? 2? 2 points.
Was it 1917?
No, it was 1913.
1913. Lost by 6.
By 6.
Lost by 7 to the Texans.
I mean, yeah, we've lost
in all of those games. We had key turnovers or
opportunities to win the game.
Key stops at the end, like the Colts game. I remember we ran the ball on 4th and 1 instead of putting the ball in Mahomes' hands. I feel like we beat ourselves with play calling and time management with penalties and key spots. Like last week, we scored a touchdown. Travis Kelce scored. It got called back.
Right.
Like that it just always seems to happen. We get a big play, it gets called back.
Yeah, Mecole Hardman had 2 fumbles And he had a fumble, I think, in the Minnesota game, right? And then you had a fumble in the Tennessee game.
I think he fumbled in the Detroit game too.
Detroit game, Damian Williams had a fumble that was run back for a touchdown. Like, that's points on the board that even if you don't score, if you just kick it back to Tannehill, that's not those are possible points not on the board.
Right.
So there are other things, yes, but that's the point I'm making is that when you have a team that has Super Bowl, if this is just like Miami or Cincinnati, these problems just come with it, right? You look at it and you go, this team is not competing. They're not fighting for a championship. But when we look at this team, we're like, man, they are this piece away or that piece away from a championship. It's like, no, we have deeper problems than just our defense. We need to clean them off. We had opportunities on offense in that Tennessee game to really put our foot on the necks of the Titans, and we didn't go down and score. Like, we gotta figure that out too.
I get that. I get what you're saying about the offense, but I mean, they put up 32 points, so I'm not gonna bitch about the offense.
You can't score every single time.
Yeah,
You're not gonna score every single time. If you score 30 points, you should be able to win the game.
30 points. Your defense should be able to hold another team below 30 points. I feel like that's not asking too much.
Or touchdown.
The miscommunication on the special teams. I don't know what the hell happened. I didn't see Cole quit making any motion for calling for the ball. Winchester was, I don't know. I don't know if he heard something or what happened on that play, but that miscommunication was a huge blunder in that game. Shout out to Mahomes, though. That jump pass was sweet. I did like that play. That was nice. That was nice. And I saw no effects of the injury at all. He looked solid to me.
Yeah.
He picked right back up where he left off. I thought Mahomes looked really good, but yeah, the special teams was a huge blunder. And then, our defense, man. Like, I know, don't get me wrong, Derrick Henry, he's a solid running back, but our run defense is just trash. I don't care who the coordinator is, or whatever. Like, it's just trash. We can't stop the run against anybody. We make everybody look like Jim Brown out there. I don't care who we play. It's horrible. They got to take more pride, and I didn't want to believe it at first, but it did seem like they play harder when Matt Moore was out there. Like, it's like when they got Mahomes back, they got laxed, or they're like, oh, we got Mahomes tonight, so we good. No, keep that same energy that you had when Matt Moore was out there.
Right.
I don't think it's that. I'm just kind of looking at it, just kind of looking at other teams as well, and I'll let you have the floor for your Titans. I looking at other teams, I see a lot of other teams wrapping up and filling holes and things like that. Like, I feel like our defense hasn't in a very long time been able to tackle. I like, nobody on the team knows how to tackle. They know how to throw their shoulders. They know how to arm tackle, but not actually wrap up and drive that man back. There's nobody on this team that I can say, besides maybe Ragland, that can wrap up and drive that man back. I haven't seen it. And whenever you have a running back like Derrick Henry and Carlos Hyde, who's a bigger back, those are the backs that we have problems with, not the elusive ones. It's the bigger backs who's going to hit that hole hard and go straight, and then you have to, again, wrap up and drive back. And so this man getting 8 yards a carry is pitiful, and I bet not see that from Gordon tonight or Eckler. I do have a question, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and get to your.
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my question is this: I always have a question. Do you think the offense should slow down to help the defense, or does slowing down hurt our momentum and rhythm as offense?
Yeah, I don't feel like you can hinder the offense just because your defense is trash. Like, I feel like Mahomes excels in that fast-paced offense, and basically it's looking like last year we're just gonna have to outscore everybody we play because we definitely can't rely on the defense. I don't think you slow it down at all.
I agree.
Yeah, I just think whether you slow it down or not, it's not going to change how well the defense plays. And like you said, you don't want to hinder Mahomes, who does play well within the offense. Of course, I'm glad to see the Titans win the game. But to Dre's point, when you score a 32, you're supposed to win that game. Like, the defense should be able to hold another team under 30. But to go along with it, the Titans defense didn't look the best either. I mean, they gave up 32. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting the defense to be phenomenal, but I wasn't expecting Tannehill to do what he did. I mean, I wasn't surprised by Derrick Henry because I did say that. But I don't know. I know this is off from that game, but Tennessee, they win next week. They right back strong in the playoff hunt because then that puts them at 6-5.
This is KC Sports Bros, man.
Give it up.
Just
Give
KC Sports
it up.
Is it not though?
They're not getting past the Colts or the Texans.
Colts and Texans play each other next week. They both 6-4.
I'm not a believer in If you want to put all your money on Ryan Tannehill, then I mean, be my guest. But I wouldn't bet nothing on Ryan Tannehill.
Who used to be a receiver.
To drive me to the playoffs.
It's better than betting on Mariota, I guess.
They both trash.
All right,
Betting on this defense.
Chiefs and Chargers tonight. What's going to happen in Mexico City?
Hopefully the Chiefs win.
Yeah, O-line. I'm glad to see we got Fisher and the doctor back tonight.
I believe Agba's out.
Yeah, he's out
He
for a year.
he had surgery, so he's done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, that's a
Somebody
big
else
blow.
was out too.
Ain't Okafor out?
Yeah, Okafor's out.
That's a big blow too.
Yeah, he's
I'm
been
sorry.
out for
I
a
know
while.
you were saying that you feel like they play hard for Matt Moore. I just think the defensive line played better when Frank Clark was not out there.
I can agree with that.
I mean,
He's gonna have to step up though with Okafor and Agba out. He's gonna have to show out now. It's his line now.
Even more so,
on the
Phillip
outside.
is a more of a pocket passer. So he's
yeah,
gonna be running
and
all
they
over
they
the
run a
place.
lot of deep route, like long routes that take time to develop. So
That
they
could
should have
give
time.
Frank some,
They should-
more incentive.
They should have that Broncos.
And they played great that night.
Yeah, they need to have that same scheme this game for sure. A lot of blitzes from the linebackers. And
the thing that's disappointing to me is that, and I think I said this a couple of episodes ago, Frank Clark, he struggles with single coverage. Like, he can't even beat single coverage half the time. Like, that's the part that I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
if you that guy, if we paying you to be like one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and you can't even consistently beat single coverage, I'm not saying you even have to get to the quarterback every single time, but you should be getting pressure on them.
For
I mean,
some early throws.
when you see single coverage, you should be smiling. Ain't nobody double teaming Frank Clark.
well, they say he has a pinched nerve in his neck or something like that. Which
If you're out there, you need a ball.
and he can't feel like a couple of his fingers or something like that. But
Well, then sit on the sidelines.
yeah, I agree. So
Give me passing yo.
It sounds like an excuse to me.
Yeah, the man. I'm not. I don't see it yet. I was happy when we got Frank Clark at the beginning of the year, but he just hasn't shown me anything.
I was never happy. Just because of what we gave up.
Yeah,
Made me feel like we should have kept D Ford.
we should have.
I would have took him on this franchise deal for sure for 1 year.
He'd be giving you more than what you're getting from Frank Clark right now. I know that.
Sure.
Yeah, but he stays hurt, and that's why they didn't want to pay him because
Yeah.
and he's like 28, 29.
Just, talking about who's going to produce, who's not going to produce, who got it, who still don't got it. Over the weekend, Kaepernick, they wanted to see if he still had it. So had a tryout in Atlanta. I won't do my long lead in, allow Dre to talk about the segment. Then I'll give my point of view along with everybody else. But go ahead, Dre.
Thank you, Bubba Gump. Well, you came in here with it on. I really feel I got a few points to get out on this. So bear with me, at least 2 minutes. I feel like Kaepernick was set up to fail from the beginning, and this is why I feel like this.
Before you continue, I want to say I agree. Before you go any further,
I feel like he was set up to fail from
agree
the
with him?
beginning. Like, number one, he was given short notice about this workout. I think it was told on like a Tuesday that he would be working out for teams on a Saturday. number one, they don't never do that. I've never heard of that happening at all.
I heard they generally on Tuesdays.
And you already know that NFL games are on Sundays, so you know no coaches are gonna be there. No top GMs, no GMs are gonna be there. They're sending people that's on their staff, but it's the man that's next to the man that's next to the man that's coming out to see Colin Kaepernick.
Interns.
It's scouts. It ain't nobody who can make decisions. You just basically coming back. These are runners that are coming to this. So he was set up to fail in that aspect. Wanted him to sign a waiver because they were going to be on just in case he got hurt, and then also that he wouldn't sue them again for further collusion that he doesn't have a job. I don't blame him. I wouldn't have signed that crap either. Nope. Wasn't allowed to film, to bring his own people in, because NFL said they were going to film it and use their film to pass to other teams, which I don't blame them either. You could do whatever you want with these tapes. I don't know how you're going to edit this. Yeah. I don't know what you're going to do to these tapes. I want my own people to record this. And he wanted transparency. Like he said, he wanted it to be open so people could see what was going on. I don't blame him there. And then you got Jay-Z, okay? The man is looking more and more like an Uncle Tom to me every day. Jay-Z has ulterior motives because they just reported he's, I think, the fourth or fifth black billionaire. They just said that fourth or fifth black person to become a billionaire. And he's made it clear that he wants to own an NFL team one day. And so how much credibility does Jay-Z have? He's trying to get in that club to own a team. So, yeah, don't get me wrong, Jay-Z has done a ton for black people, whether it's Meek Mill or whoever, to help out the black community. So I'm not questioning that. But at the same time, at this point in his life, he's made it clear he wants to be an owner. And so everything he says and does, you have to take with a grain of salt because he's going to side with these people who he's trying to help put more money in his pocket. And so he called with Colin Kaepernick's interview and the whole situation, him moving to the high school, a publicity stunt. Well, Jay-Z, I would say what the NFL did was a publicity stunt by having this short notice workout and putting Colin Kaepernick in a no-win situation. I feel like it was ridiculous.
But what did they have to gain for doing that?
I feel like the NFL agenda was to say, look, we gave him a chance. We brought out all these teams. None of them liked him. So that's why he's not signed. It has nothing to do with this other stuff. He just can't play anymore. Which if you watch, and I watched the workout, he looked good. Now, was every throw accurate? No, but he wasn't an accurate quarterback like that when he was
playing.
And there's something in the league right now that ain't accurate.
His deep balls looked good.
Starting.
You gonna tell me Nathan Peterman is better than Colin Kaepernick?
No.
You gonna tell me Allen with the Broncos is better than Colin Kaepernick?
No.
Falk that was with the Jets that filled in, is he better than Kaepernick?
No.
Sam Darnold.
Chase Daniel. I mean, don't get me wrong. No disrespect to Chase Daniel, but Colin Kaepernick has easily accomplished more in his short career than Chase Daniel has in his 11 years.
Shoot, Mitch.
Well, he wasn't starting either, though.
But there's a reason why he was never a starter.
I understand that, but I'm just saying
he was on Colin
wasn't.
Kaepernick's level. That's the point I'm making.
I got you.
Now, where I do fault Colin Kaepernick, I felt like it was a misstep in that interview. He said some things that he probably, maybe he don't want to take back, but when he went to the whole, like, Roger Goodell, NFL, y'all running and all that, okay, it's like, okay, at the same time, you still trying to get a job.
Right.
And that might not have been the best approach to take when you asking these people to work. I believe he wants to play football, but at the same time, he still has this agenda that he's trying to push too because he wants to fight for equality for black people. So I get that. I think he's like torn between the two, wanting to play football and then wanting to make sure that he's staying true to himself, which it can be a hard balance at times when you in the workplace. And I feel like he's struggling with that a little bit. But like I said, my overall point, I feel like he was set up to fail from the beginning, and he was never really given a real chance to succeed.
I pretty much agree with a lot of what you said. I don't feel like it was fair either, considering that most of the open workouts are generally on Tuesdays. That's after Sunday and Monday. Games are over. It's now time to prepare for the next week. So we're available on a Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. Most of your teams are not available to just fly out there. They top people because we got a game tomorrow. And so I think personally he kind of beat them at their own game by switching to the high school. And I don't really think you can fault the man for wanting transparency. I mean, you could take that tape, show all the bad throws, and then send it to the 32 teams. Nobody's going to sign him off that. But if I got my own people in, he even paid to bring in his own receivers. I also agree with Dre, too, about the interview. Probably should have walked back some of those comments because you're still trying to get the job. Now, I do disagree with Stephen A. has said that
that man's a coon. I'm done with Stephen A.
That the way
Undisputed.
that for changing the venue and everything shows that he really don't care about playing. I thought the reason for changing was pretty clear about wanting the transparency for people to see, what he could do. I still don't think they want him personally.
No, they don't.
And so it was just a way to say, well, we tried. Because clearly he could still play. And as we mentioned some of the other names, he's better than them, like right now, without, being on the field every day. So it's a touchy situation. Everybody has an opinion about it. And, again, with the whole being torn between, you and your workplace, it's tough. He still wants to, like you said, fight that fight, but he do still want to play. And you don't want to just play somewhere. You want to get back to the biggest stage. But ultimately, I don't see him getting there. I don't really think it matters, what he did on Saturday or where he did it. I don't think he had an opportunity.
I don't even think that he did enough of the drills that they would have done for him to even be evaluated properly. Because I feel like there would have been a lot more conditioning going on. Because, we saw him throw, but, what's your stamina? Where's your timing? Where's your, like those type of drills that they would do where there's a guy covering and say, hit him in this spot and all of that type of stuff. It's like, where is all that at? We don't know if you have that. But I guess the biggest issue I had with it was you had a chance to get yourself back in the door. You had your foot in the door. You had an opportunity. And by changing the venue and all that stuff based off the lack of transparency, I just feel like you hindered your own self in that regard. I understand that he don't trust the NFL, and I understand that the NFL doesn't trust him. But when you are put in position to get yourself back where you have been supposedly working 3 years to get, and you say, I've been ready, I've been staying ready, and I am ready, it don't matter when they call you if you say you're ready. If they say show up tomorrow, if you're ready, then you're ready. If you're not ready, then you don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with me. This is my opinion, and that's cool because I don't agree with you either. I don't believe that he was set up to fail. I just believe that he used this opportunity to make it about what was in the past instead of focusing on the moment, which was an opportunity to get back in the league. Because I believe by not going to the venue, by not just doing whatever it was they were asking him to do, he left the door open for these type of conversations for people to have an opinion on what was going on. Because if he just shows up, shows out, does what he says he's ready to do, and that's play, then at the end of the day, what are we talking about? How he performed.
I guess that's my thing too, is do we know how he performed if we let somebody else decide what we get?
Because the only thing I look at from there too is that you say, oh, well, I don't know what y'all going to do to these tapes. They might just show all the bad throws. And it's like, well, I don't know what your people are going to do. They might just put only the good throws in there and then send the tapes out.
But he went to a high school, though.
And his was live streamed.
Yeah. So.
And if you have it at the Falcons facility, number one, the NFL controls the narrative of whatever happened that day. We have to take their word for what it is. And number two, why would you trust a company that's kept you out of work for the last 3 years? I wouldn't trust them either. I wouldn't trust anything.
Why would I give a player an opportunity that sued me? But
they
that don't make sense
try
either.
To put things in place with that waiver.
But don't they give that waiver to anybody that's free agents?
Not that one. They said that one was a bit different.
Well, do you blame them for drawing up the waiver though after he sued them for money and won?
I don't. But I don't blame him for making his venue change.
I do. It was your idea for me to have this workout. So then this was sprung on me.
I mean,
so now why are you trying to put conditions on me?
Because
what if
put
me in a box?
Well, because my thing is like, what if the teams actually just didn't want him? Then he just went back and said, "Oh, well, I just didn't get brought in because."
All right.
Because I don't believe that the workouts would even happen. One, without Jay-Z being in the place that he was in. That's number one. And then number two, if I believe some teams actually said, "Hey, we need a quarterback and we are interested in Colin Kaepernick," but they didn't want to step out. Because if they turn him down, then they get all the backlash, just like the NFL is getting all the backlash right now. So the NFL stepped out in front of that and said, let's just create an environment for these teams to step in. If nobody picks them up, nobody's at fault but us.
Guys, fellas, KC Sports Bros. Whenever I seen this headline, Kaepernick, on like you said, on the Tuesday, he's supposed to work out on a Saturday. I paid no mind to it because the NFL's not going to let him back in. I know that. They're not going to let him back in. Kaepernick knows that.
Then why show up to the workout? Why even do the workout at all?
So he can have that interview.
Right. That's a PR stunt then.
It is. And it's not Cap's fault. It
is his fault.
No, because Cap knows. He knows. But he took advantage of his opportunity.
It didn't help his cause at all.
He knows it. I know it. Y'all should know it. The NFL knows it. He's not. They don't want him back in. They're not going to let him back in. It's over with. It's over with. I ain't got nothing else to say about it.
I don't think he'll play another down.
He don't want to play.
Personally,
he'd be in the XFL.
He don't want to play.
I think he does want to play, but I think when he was in his mind, he was like, okay, NFL, y'all want to try and make a spectacle of me with this whole situation, kind of like Bernie said. Then fine, I'm gonna flip it back on you and do my own thing. And I think that was his way of thinking because. He ain't getting on an NFL job. I don't care. I'm with you. He is not getting an NFL job. Nobody is seriously considering bringing Colin Kaepernick to their team because they don't want what comes along with that. Because every player in that locker room, every GM, every person in that building is going to be asked about the protest, the kneeling, or whatever. Nobody's bringing Colin Kaepernick in.
And he could have flipped that to his advantage and been like, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about football because I'm ready to play. That's my focus right now.
Yeah, but they still going to talk about what they want to talk about. There's no way that Kaepernick plays for anybody and gets around the protest question. Like you
don't have to get around it. He just needs to stay where his. It's going to come up. It would come up if he got picked up or not. And so it's like, why add to it? Why draw attention to that narrative that's already going to be there? You're already known for that, for being that guy, for making that. We really appreciate the fight that you fought. I'm not saying that anything was wrong with that, with the fight that he fought. But the issue I had was like you said, that interview at the end, that was clearly staged and planned. Like he didn't take any questions about what he was doing, how he felt. What type of teams did he feel like he could make better, or the type of play style he could bring to the NFL? Like, he didn't do none of that. To me, that shows me you don't care about football. You just wanted to get this opportunity and use this stage to get out there and be like, I've been ready, this and that and the other. I've been a martyr. I've been crucified and all this other stuff. And it's like, just go out there and do what you said you was going to do. You said you was ready to play. Go play. You do more for us being able to get back in the NFL and prove them wrong than sitting out here and just making a spectacle of the entire situation.
So you're saying he had a realistic chance to be back on the team?
I don't know if he did or not, but I'm saying he didn't help his chances at all by doing what he did. And any shot that he did have, I think he threw it out the window by going, you know what? I have my stipulations. Y'all don't, because my thing is, if you go in for a job interview, DeAndre, right? So you say, okay, I want this position. You don't get to pick the time and the place that the interview happens, right? They tell you, we're going to meet you at 4:30 at this time, at this location. What you going to do? You going to make it happen, right? You going to be there. You going to clear your schedule, whatever you got to do, because you really want that position. I feel like he was like, well, y'all do this for everybody else. But it's like, you're not everybody else. You're Colin Kaepernick. The reason you're not in the league is very different for why these other free agents aren't in the league.
And that's a problem, though.
It is a problem. But my point is, you have to look at it from that perspective and go, man, I'm not in this the most ideal situation. Life's not fair. I already know that. So I'm not gonna make it harder on myself by going, I'm gonna change the venue. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get my own people. It's like, if you go out there,
does it factor in though that there is a huge distrust between the two?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I said with both. That's why they made the waiver, and that's why he did what he did. I understand that, but I think if you go in, because I know he wanted like a list of the personnel who he was going to be throwing to, who was going to be running the drills and all that stuff, and they wouldn't give it to him. But if you go out there with the third or fourth guy on the practice squad and make him look like a starter, what does that do for your stock? Versus if you got your guys that you know that you've been throwing to the whole time. You know what I mean? I know y'all, my viewpoint is not popular, but that's just how I look at it. There was many opportunities for him to exceed that situation because your fight that you're fighting is going to be fought outside of the NFL anyway if you get back in, because he's not going to do it again. They just going to kick him back out, right? That's how I look at it. He's not going to bring that back in. If he got back in, he was just going to play football.
I don't know his mind state. But I don't understand going through all that to get back in and now say, now I ain't gonna do it. It's like it almost looks like now that I got my job, I don't care no more. And I don't think he would do that just because of those options.
I'm not saying that he was ever gonna stop the fight. I'm saying he still wasn't
gonna stand for. I don't personally think he
probably
would still
not.
stood.
But I don't know. But I just feel like when you get a second chance like that, and that's what got you out. I don't think he would have been doing the same stuff. I think he still would have been saying the same things and doing the same, donating the same amount of money and all that different kind of stuff that he was doing outside of the field. But I think he would have kept what's supposed to be on the field once he got his second chance. He would have been able to separate the two. That's just what I think.
Like I said, Cap knew that he had no chance. The NFL knew that he has no chance. And I think Cap spent it the way that he wanted to spend it, which I commend him for that.
Man was out there in a Kunta Kinte shirt. Literally with a shirt that said Kunta Kinte on it.
Yeah, that's
not
nuts.
even close. Not even close. Not the same.
But yeah. Let's move on.
I mean, a lot of aftermath dealing with that situation. Kind of got out of hand either way, on the NFL's end and somewhat on Kaepernick's end. And then last Monday, Steelers and Browns got out of hand.
Thursday, I think.
No, Thursday. You're right. Last Thursday got real out of hand at the end of the game. Like the game was, I don't know, pretty much over. Surprisingly, the Browns were up big. Well, not big, but 21-7.
Yeah,
it's decent. And then Garrett tackles Mason Rudolph after the throw, and then all hell breaks loose. Big Earn.
All right, I think you set that up nicely. Like you said, 21-7, Browns beat the Steelers. Stats, nothing to really highlight, but Baker actually didn't turn over the ball. That's very surprising. Mason Rudolph turned over the ball enough for both QBs with 4 INTs.
Trash.
Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of this.
You get Juju stats on that?
Let's eat.
Let's eat. I like that.
What was Juju's stats? He was out because he was hurt.
Yeah, he got a concussion and
That was
some
his
other
stats.
things. Anyway,
Concussed.
so now with that being said, a frustrated Mason gets hit as the lets go of the ball with 8 seconds left of the game. Remember, I said frustrated. He was frustrated because he thrown 4 INTs and his team is down 2 scores with 8 seconds left on the clock. Oh my gosh. I don't want to get off track. Mr. Garrett hits Mason.
Struggling?
From my perspective,
Are you gonna cry?
Trying to hold in his rage.
and from my perspective, it looked like that he was actually he was kind of laying him down and not putting his whole body weight onto him.
I agree.
It wasn't no hard hit.
No, and I thought that he had just let go of the ball and he,
it
wrapped
was
him up.
bang,
I
bang
think,
play.
I think it was that motion. So again, with Mr. Rudolph, I won't call him Mr. Rudolph, Mason, started grabbing his helmet and tugging at it, and Garrett obviously was like, all right, man, you want to play that way? Cool. So he ripped off his helmet. And then Mason was still coming at him. And Mr. Garrett lost his cool a little bit and swing the helmet. I mean, it was in his hand. I mean, hey, you come at me, I'm throwing whatever I got. I mean, a fight's a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So Mason found that out.
I just don't understand some of the suspensions as well. We got suspension Mr. Garrett. I'm calling him Mr. Garrett because I don't want to get in a fight with him. I wouldn't get in a fight with him. He's crazy.
Man, call that man Miles.
I'm not calling no man Miles. Yeah, he's just one rather large pause and angry individual. Mr. Garrett. Mr. Garrett gets suspended indefinitely without pay for the rest of the season and playoffs if the Browns make it, which they probably won't. Pouncey gets suspended 3 games. Who, you know what? No, minus what Rudolph and Garrett did, I think Pouncey did what he had to do.
Yeah, he
protect his quarterback. I mean, he seen this man swinging a helmet, and he said, "I'm gonna make sure this guy doesn't get back up and do some more damage."
So you think he should not been suspended?
I didn't say that.
Well, what did you?
What I'm saying is, I commend him for what he did.
That's cool. We all respect him for doing that. He still did what he did,
and he got 3 games.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know his name.
Talk about it.
He hit Mason. Yeah, he leveled him, and he got 1 game after the fact. So he got 1 game for that, and the Steelers and Browns were fined $250,000 a piece for each team, which is that's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think about all that? And
Did you
more into it?
Did you say you didn't agree with the suspension?
No, I guess the only thing I didn't agree with was I hadn't seen anything, and I looked it up. Mason Rudolph.
He got fined. That's the only thing I wasn't okay with. He didn't get any
should have been
suspension.
suspended.
He should have been suspended.
Everybody involved should have been suspended and fined. That's what I think.
I think the one suspension that did take place that I didn't agree with was the Obi-Wan Kenobi fella. I think he should have got more than just 1 game. Like you came
For
in,
that?
but you came in after the fact, put somebody who didn't have nothing to do with what was going on anymore. Like Mason was not even involved no more.
Yeah, because he had just gotten hit in the head with a helmet.
I wouldn't have suspended him at all. I'll get to that.
Pouncey, I think 3 games is suitable.
Yeah.
And I think it was more so with the kicks to the head that got him the 3 games.
As opposed to the punches. I think if he just threw the punches, it wouldn't have been that bad.
Yeah. Now, again, I do agree Mason should have been suspended.
All the way.
Simply because
He's trash.
Garrett ripped his helmet off. Yes. After Mason tried to take his off. And after Mason kicked him. So all that happened before Garrett got the helmet off. And then Mason gets no games because he's the aggressor. He got knocked upside the head. Then he became the victim. I don't think that's fair. Like, I feel like he should have been suspended somewhat. And I didn't like how all the aftermath of it was. I've never seen anything in the NFL like this before. Like, I mean, we've seen similar things.
Yeah. Andre Johnson and
boy from the Titans.
Cortland Finnegan?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Both helmets came off.
They both threw hands when the helmets came off.
Incognito. Like, he tried to kill Joe Flacco that night. Laid him out. He wasn't suspended indefinitely. So I'm just saying, like, let's just be clear across the board. Go ahead, Dre.
I got some different thoughts on this, as you can assume. Your boy Rudolph the reindeer, the man clearly started everything. Number one, should have been suspended. It's not our fault that you're not strong enough to pull another man's helmet off. You were just weak, no power, couldn't do it. Garrett was able to get yours off. Should have been suspended at least 2 to 3 games, I felt like. Number 2, Pouncey. Only 3 games? Kicking a man in the head while he down. I don't mind the punches, but kicking the game. I mean, I feel like it's a double standard there. We gave Kareem Hunt, 14 games when he kicked somebody? Now. So, are we having double standard between? I'm just saying.
I hear
are we double standard between men and women?
I hear you.
Do we care about safety or not? So if it's a woman, you get 14. If it's a man, you get 3. That's all I'm saying. I ain't gonna dive deeper into it, but that's all I'm saying.
If I ever go to court, he's my lawyer.
I'm just saying. Let's keep it consistent, NFL. I mean, Kareem got 14, something like that.
To this day.
3 games.
To this day.
The man Garrett was on the ground, Steeler player on top of him, and this man kicking him in the head. My bad, but
that's 2 grown men, though.
Come on. Okay, it's still a person.
I mean, but if you're gonna use that argument, you could use that about when he hit him in the head with the helmet. I had a grown man restraining me, then another grown man charging me. Like, what did you expect was gonna happen?
My next point, okay?
True.
Mason, stop throwing after. Oh, it was cowardly. It was Bush League. No, you charged at Myles Garrett. Now, You saw he had your helmet in his hand, and you still went at him. So I feel like that's on you. That's your fault. You saw he had a weapon in his hand. That's on you. You deserve to get knocked the hell out. Number 4, no bench players. Where was Garrett's teammates? I saw nobody besides the other fat dude, the lineman, whatever he was. I saw nobody come over to Myles Garrett's defense. Where was his boys? Run off the bench. Someone was still on the field. This man is getting attacked by 3 Steelers. No Browns in sight. If I'm Myles Garrett, I got to talk to my boys after the game.
I'm with you.
I'm like, where was y'all at?
I'm with you on that.
If all 4 of us is out together somewhere and I'm getting jumped by 3 dudes and none of y'all dudes jump in, oh, we got a problem after I get out the hospital. We got a problem. We have a problem.
It was reported that Freddie Kitchens was going down the sideline telling his dudes not to go.
No.
I'm not saying that's an excuse. I'm just saying that's what was happening.
I mean, I see the sideline, but if you're already on the field, I mean, there's 10 other guys on the field.
I'm coming in throwing haymakers. If I see my dude getting attacked by 3 dudes, somebody got to come in and jump in.
You know who he needed? Thon Maker. Anybody seen that video? He was over in the Olympics.
Lastly, you getting us off topic. Lastly,
I seen it.
There you go.
Baker Mayfield.
That's my own
Okay, this interview that he gave,
trash.
you are supposed to have, even if you don't agree with your teammate, it's a way you're supposed to spin that. For you to come out right after the game and basically trash Myles Garrett after the game, I felt like that was wrong. You're supposed to have your teammate back. I'm not saying
that in the locker room.
I'm not saying you condone what he did, but all you have to say was like, look, emotions were high on both sides. Both players made some mistakes. I didn't really get to see it. I was on the side, something to that effect. But for you to come out and publicly say, yeah, Myles Garrett was wrong you can't do that, man. You the leader of this team. You're supposed to always have your teammates back. And so now his teammates are looking at him like, damn, like Baker Mayfield sold Myles Garrett out quick. He didn't even waste no time. Like those are the 2 issues that bother me. Number 1, no Browns players came into his defense. I feel like that was messed up. And then Baker Mayfield with that,
threw him under the bus.
That sad ass interview he gave was ridiculous.
Okay, so for me, the biggest thing in all of this was that Mason Rudolph got no kind of suspension. He's like you said, because he got hit in the head with the helmet, it got spun into him being the victim. The biggest difference in that is that when he tried to take the helmet off, it didn't come off. Mm-hmm. If he rips Myles Garrett's helmet off, then Myles Garrett rips his helmet off, we were having a completely different conversation. But just like he sucks at football, he sucked at taking off the helmet.
Man's weak.
Pause. So he's terrible. He's bad. He threw 4 interceptions. He had motive.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing. Like everybody was trying to act like, oh, you don't hit the band of brothers. You don't hit. And it's like the dude tried to rip another guy's helmet off because they were down by 2 scores and were about to lose a football game.
And if you go back and look at it, he kicked Garrett below the belt.
And it's like, but he instigated it. He started it all. And then after that, charged the guy. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, that's 2 games right there. That's 2 games right there for me. Then you want to, there was Adam Schefter reported, somebody said, oh, his fingers were stuck in the face. No, get out of here with all that. We know what really happened. He just tried to rip his helmet off. But at the end of that, like you said, going to the Baker Mayfield interview, I think he was just more upset that they had won and nobody was going to be talking about them winning. And to me, that's the biggest thing is like even when the Browns won, they still lost because all this week nobody has talked about the fact that they won by 2 scores, and then if they continue this pace, they could make the playoffs. Nobody's talking about that. Not at all. Like not even the possibility. Like nobody's talking about the team. Everybody's talking about what happened with Myles Garrett. But like you said, he all he had to do was uphold his character, right? Like, say, oh, I know Myles personally. He's not that kind of guy. That's not something.
Which he's not. He's never.
Right. I mean, earlier in the season, he's had incidents, right? I think he punched somebody.
No, he got punched in the face by a fan.
Well, no, I think he had some history before that with some on-field stuff. But the point is, he's not known for that kind of activity. And so all you have to do is spin that and say, he's not that kind of guy. The Myles Garrett I know is not like that. So he was either provoked or, there was a lot of tension going on. It's a rivalry game. This kind of stuff happens all the time. You just don't always get to see it. Like, and I know you're going to say the helmet thing didn't happen, but at the end of the day, what he did is inexcusable. You hate to see anything like that happen. But for a player like Mason Rudolph, who probably won't even be, we probably won't see him again after this season, no matter whether Ben comes back or they go draft somebody. Like, we're not going to see, like, is irrelevant. Like, you gotta just look at it from that perspective and go, man, this guy should be getting something. Like Myles Garrett is an elite talent in this league, and you're treating him like scum because of what he did, but like Mason Rudolph isn't accountable at all. Like, what are we doing? Like,
He's clearly the aggressor in the situation.
It serves him that he's the quarterback, right? Because they're trying to protect that. That's really what it comes down to. If he was any other type of player, we'd be having a different conversation. But because he's a quarterback, he's innocent, and I just think that needs to change.
All right, this is KC Sports Bros podcast. Thank y'all for listening in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Keep tuning in for more sports. Next segment that we're going to dive into here is NCAA suspensions. There were 2 this past week with Wiseman for the Memphis basketball and Young for Ohio State football. Young was initially suspended indefinitely, which they did get changed, but he borrowed some money from a family friend so he could fly his girlfriend out to watch him play in the Rose Bowl in January, paid it back by April, and then now in November he gets suspended. Like, I mean, what are we doing? Like, I just find that to be very ridiculous, and the fact that he paid it back. And the person that he borrowed the money from has no ties to Ohio State whatsoever. So then with Wiseman, freshman at Memphis, Penny Hardaway paid to move him and his family to Memphis, so that way he could mentor him as his coach. Paid over $11,000 to move them and get them repositioned in Memphis.
But this was well
in
before
2008.
Yeah.
And now in 2011
years ago.
In 2019, they are considering Penny a booster to the Memphis program and wants to suspend Wiseman indefinitely while they figure it out. Now, they were able to get an emergency temporary restraining order against the NCAA so he could play the day it happened. But now they have dropped that, and so he is going to sit out until the investigation is done. The NCAA, man, they just, yeah, man. I mean, just keep taking more L's. I'm glad Young's was able to be reduced because I just don't find that to be fair to him. And then with Wiseman, that whole situation, he wasn't even aware. It was something between Penny and his parents that was done, so he didn't know, who paid, who did this. But I think it's stupid because the way you look at it, you're saying that in 2008. Penny did this because I know in 11 years I'll be coaching at Memphis University and I'm gonna try to recruit you.
An 8-year-old at the time.
Yeah, like that doesn't even make sense. And the night of the game with Memphis and University of Illinois Chicago, Robbie Hummel was commentating that night, and he just said he think it's a double standard.
Purdue?
Yep.
Wow.
He just said that he felt it was a double standard because if Wiseman was some great piano player that Penny wanted to mentor and paid to move his family, everybody would give Penny so much praise. But because it's basketball, then it's wrong. So I just think the NCAA is just hypocrites. There's double standards across the board. It's just a lose-lose, even with the Fair Play Act now, being put in. They still going to try to find a way around it to suspend whoever they want to suspend. Based on whatever they feel like they should be suspended for.
I think Penny obviously pissed off somebody. And,
Had to,
yeah. And then
somebody bought his old shoes and didn't like them.
Same with Ohio State. Same with Ohio State. I mean, I feel like the NCAA only acts whenever, somebody pisses them off. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to go down the road of talking about KU. And how they should not play basketball. But,
whoa.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzou gets a ban.
I thought you weren't going to talk about it, but go ahead.
And KU.
We got some fines.
It's gotten some fines, but y'all
we've had players that have to sit out. None of it's been proven.
Talking about lawyer. All right. But like I said, I think the NCAA just they do what they want to do. If somebody pisses them off, they can do whatever they want to do, period. And nobody can touch them. Nobody can say anything. I mean, you can talk all you want to, but what?
Still
What
gonna
you
sit
gonna
out
do?
the games.
Yeah, you're still gonna sit out those games. Still gonna take the L. And so does the NCAA, like you said. So that's why I stopped watching college. Like I used to be a big college fan. I used to like college more than the NFL. And then once I started like getting older and started comprehending some of the stuff the NCAA is doing, I can't mess with them, man.
Yeah, like you said, I totally agree. They pick and choose when they want to enforce rules, and that's the point. That's the part that irritates me. They're not consistent at all. They've been railroading Bill Self for years,
Man.
but like I said, we won't go into that. But like,
Of course not.
11 years ago, he knew this dude Wiseman was gonna be this great player at 8 years old. Like, give me a break. Like that's a stretch. That's ridiculous. And then the young man, he wanted this girl to see him play at the Rose Bowl.
I mean, at that time, that's literally your biggest game of your career.
You want your girl, you sneaking out your hotel room past curfew, meeting up with her, doing thing, getting some good luck, poutine pie before the game the next day. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
So you can lay the smack down the next day.
Thank you. The man, he was trying to get
Why
his
y'all
Russell
talking?
Wilson and Sierra
I'm
now.
gonna see what his stats were for that game. Go ahead.
He probably balled out. Who knows?
Smell
He's
what
number
young is
one on
cooking.
everybody's big board, so he must have balled out.
Or if the thing was bad, then I'm sure he played like crap. But anyways,
He probably not even with her anymore.
I think they still together. But
He probably with other women too.
but yeah, it's like I said, they pick and choose when they want to enforce these rules.
Ohio State won the game, 28-23.
Who they play?
Washington.
That's right. Okay.
Let's see. Where is the defense?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, that was Haskins was there that year.
yeah, that was last year.
He had
Scary Terry too.
two
And Campbell.
tackles.
2 tackles. Any sacks? That's it.
Sacks.
Any sacks?
Sacks.
Yeah, not ball sacks.
I heard six.
What is
We already
what are
established.
That's
We already
the second
established
we've
that.
established that one. One sack. One sack.
Okay. I'm sure he had a lot of pressures.
Yeah. So 2 tackles, 1 sack. Got the dub.
Anyway, he's the number one player coming out right now. Mel Kiper, everybody, all the draft scouts are saying he's the best player coming out. So, I don't get the NCAA. Like if I feel like they've already losing a lot of eyes to the pro game and to other things, and then let's take arguably our best player in the nation, defensive player in the nation, and put him on the bench because of something like that.
So long ago, like
for so long.
both of these, like one was from January, like last season, and this season's almost over, and then we, won a City Mountain with Wiseman. It was 11 years ago.
Yeah, somebody owed somebody something. Michigan fan owed somebody something, and then they was like, "Yeah, let's get that best player out of there." So I don't. It's nuts, man. I'm done with
But
this.
I feel like you to that point, they've had eyes. It seems like they've had eyes on Ohio State for years. Back when Jim Tressel was there, he had his issues.
Maurice
Prior
Claret.
issue.
What was it, tattoos or something?
Tattoos happening. Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott, Urban
Like
Meyer.
his cutoff jersey.
Urban Meyer had his issues,
Bag.
he was hiring women beaters on his staff. So they've, Ohio, as Ernie said, let's call a spade a spade. That's his go-to line. Ohio State's have issues for years. So, I think NCAA definitely has eyes on that program, along with KU.
Amen.
Oh wow, I applaud you for saying that.
I can't wait till they put the death penalty on it.
I'm saying,
Can we press that button, please?
There's been some suspensions, some fines, but if you can't prove it, you can't prove it.
I will say this: my only input on this is, if you want people to watch your league, you need your best players out there. Simple as that.
Exactly.
Like even you look at like the NFL when Patrick Mahomes went down. That's all everybody talks about. This is not good for the league. Best player in football, not good for the league, not good for anything. So again, especially when you have like with the Memphis situation where he had nothing to do with it. It was before Penny was even the coach. So it's like, why is this even a problem? And then the thing with Young, the season's almost over. It's like that was last year. If you didn't get it on last year, then there's nothing valid about what you're talking about. So I don't understand why you would want to hurt your own league by just taking out your best players and possibly ruining marquee matchups. When you like, because like the stuff with Alabama, like all that stuff is out the window now because Tua's hurt. So it's like the people will probably watch those games, but
You think if Tua had his girl flown out to the championship game, this would have even came up?
nobody would have even known about it.
Yeah, Nick
Saban wouldn't even have had that. It'd been way under wraps.
He keeps his stuff close to the vest.
And even if it did,
Nick would have paid for the ticket.
Right,
Man,
exactly.
They the mob. Nick run his stuff like the mob, man.
And so I just think that the NCAA is hurting themselves, and they need to realize that you need your best talent on there if you want to compete. Because if somebody else decides to go start a league and then players are going to that, and
It's over.
It's over
money.
with.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
Let's finish up with this Monday Night Football prediction. Ravens at the Rams.
Hey, me and you won that Seahawks one, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay, just throwing that out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Okay, I'm saying.
Yeah, I was going back and forth with that, but I picked the 49ers just
You
because
did.
I was so
was-
strong with them early in the year.
Yeah.
But good pick. It was a good game. Great
Okay, you
game.
can't count against Russell.
Overtime game. That was a great game.
Getting that
It could've
cut
went either way.
game.
Before we get into the picks, I did just get an ESPN update. In warm-ups, Harrison Butker made a 70-yard field goal. I don't know if that means anything for the game.
Who cares?
Isn't
Still got a block for him though.
Yeah.
He didn't get off
There was
against
something that Patrick could throw it from one side to the other during the game earlier. He's like, can he possibly throw it 100 yards?
They said the air is really light.
So we'll see.
Could be interesting. But who y'all got, Dre?
Is it at
Who's the
LA?
It's in L.A.
What's
Yeah.
the team? Who's playing?
Ravens and
Ravens at the Rams.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Ravens at the Rams. Based off of Ty
Stats.
Gurley being an amputee now,
He had a good game last night.
dead clock strikes twice a day. Based off of Ty Gurley being an amputee and Jared Goff clearly regressing, I'm gonna go Ravens. I'm gonna choose the Ravens. Lamar is clearly the leader in the clubhouse for MVP. Defense, they got first round picks all over their DBs. They playing solid. I'm going Ravens. Ingram has been balling. It seems like he just gets on good teams everywhere he goes. Alabama, New Orleans, now Baltimore. I'm going Ravens.
I'm also going Ravens. I don't really have a lot more explanation than what Dre gave. I mean, the defense is clicking. I don't know what happened to Lamar, but he has been playing phenomenal.
Pretty good for a running back.
Yeah, he wants to make that point every week.
Oh, yeah, Ravens. I don't have any faith in Jared Goff at all to win a shootout against the Ravens. Their only hope would be their defense, and that's even suspect now for the Rams. So, Ravens.
I gotta see him lose again, man. The Ravens look good, defensively, offensively, running the ball, get a little bit of passing from Lamar. Ravens big.
CJ also picked the Ravens.
All right.
So it looked like we
Unanimous.
are Ravens across the board.
So yeah, it looks like our leaderboard won't move at all.
No,
Regardless,
because I'm gonna get my first dub of the season
No.
Dirty red on the board.
on the board.
You're gonna have the best winning percentage.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm getting the MVP too.
All right. Final takes. Trey.
It was my final take. Just finally got to be on the full episode since the first one.
Talk about it.
It was fun. My first episode back, a lot of disagreement on at least a couple topics.
Always more fun that way.
It's always more fun that way. If you ever need somebody to argue with, I'll debate you even when I know I'm wrong. That's my final take.
Are you saying you were wrong about the?
No,
Okay, go ahead,
I'm
Vic.
just saying.
Absolutely, he
I
was.
was just saying in the future, if I'm wrong, I'll still debate you.
All right. Big Earn, final take.
My last final take. Last time we were here before the Colts game, I had a big prediction. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm pretty superstitious. Go Chiefs.
All right, Dre. Final take.
Final
Takes.
Takes.
number one. Shout out Popeyes. The chicken sandwich is back, baby.
Whoa.
I had it. I wasn't
I
that
had it too.
impressed.
What?
Was not that impressed.
I was done. You know what? I'm like, I got done. Who did I call?
The man called me while I was at work the other day. Said, Dre, I had that chicken sandwich. I just busted a nut. Those were his exact words. Pretty much. I'm paraphrasing. But
You are paraphrasing, but very true.
But no, it was good. The man said he took one bite, didn't even make it to work. Sandwich was good. I loved it.
I still haven't had it.
I'm happy it's back.
What's going on with their road situation? I saw a video about that.
Every franchise has one bad location.
Yeah,
Maybe that's where all that flavor comes from.
I'm still gonna eat it. A little roast sauce on there. Never heard of nobody. Number two. This game tonight. Chiefs need this dub bad. I hate to call it a must win, but I kind of feel like it's a must win just for us to keep pace in the AFC. Raiders are on our heels. Patriots are still up there. Ravens look unstoppable right now. We need this win tonight, especially going into a bye week, because the rest of our season, the teams we have an easy schedule the rest of the way out. So we win tonight, go in with momentum, finish strong down the stretch. I think Chiefs will be in good position. I think we're still probably going to end up with the 3 seed. But I believe we've shown that we can win on the road. So that doesn't frighten me in the playoffs. But they need this win tonight. Those are my final takes.
Man, that was nice.
Well, I'm trying to get to the game.
I know.
And I'm hungry.
Double deal.
My final take, just one. I know they say about the science, but I'm not a real big fan of the load management that's going on in the NBA right now.
Terrible.
It's, I guess, kind of like what we talked about with the NCAA. You want your marquee players out there. We've had marquee players. It's nationally televised games because science says they should sit out that game because of load management. Play the games. Just pay you to play the games. Play the game.
It's amazing to me that, they talk about this science, but how come, Michael Jordan played all those games, didn't seem to affect him? Karl Malone, Magic Johnson, all these great players played all these games, no ill effects on them, but now all of a sudden,
Everybody need load management.
and technology is light years ahead of what it was back
Nutrition,
then.
all that.
Yeah, they got nutritionists, physical therapists, like whatever, and now all of a sudden they can't play games. Makes no sense to me.
I know one of the biggest things they said about Jordan being able to play all those games is during the summer he didn't touch a basketball, so he was able to rest his body. But they play year round. Like,
That's on them though.
that's what I'm saying. Like, sit down, take a break. It's off season.
Relax.
But
Take a chill pill.
like with Kawhi, like you sat out and we're like 4 games in. I mean, you can't be tired yet.
Because Paul George was injured, right? That's one reason he wasn't playing.
Right.
So that makes sense.
He's been
He came back balled out.
balling.
I think they should be paid to play. Like each game, they should get a check. And if you
Oh, so
don't
like if
play,
they don't play, they don't
if you
get it.
don't play, you don't get a check.
I mean, I get they're trying to find the teams for it, but I mean, there's ways around
They
it.
have like an NBA doctor. If he say, "Hey, my knee hurts" or something like that, and they, that NBA appointed doctor checks him out. Like, all right, he needs to sit out for X amount of games.
Yeah, but for rest, like,
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Thank y'all for joining us on KC Sports Bros podcast. Again, this is your host. We got the whole squad here. Thank you for joining us today, Trey.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out CJ out there taking care of those dad duties. So we'll see you back on the next episode.
Great job, CJ.
So thank y'all for listening. Remember, push that like button, push that subscribe button, and stay looking out for more content.